Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and our honored guests, ambassadors, and whether you're an ambassador, a wellness ambassador, or a financial intermediary, the outcome your clients want is exactly the same: health, wealth, and happiness. And that's the power of wellness when it is done right. Before we carry on, just a couple of uh, arrangements. In the first session that we had with the launch of WASA, you had to wait some time for the CPD certificates. In this specific case, certificates will go out this week still. So that's my commitment to you. Secondly, in terms of the session, if you have questions, please put it in the chat. You can type it in the chat, or you can hold it till the end. We've looked at a presentation. The presentation should take us up to about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, and then there's ample time for questions and answers afterwards. So I hope that that is fine with you. But you can also put the questions in the chat so that we do have it. What we will also try and do with when we send out the certificates, we will also send you a file with questions and answers on that. Okay, I hope that's fine. So let's carry on. We are currently 123 on the call, and more people joining as we speak. So I think that's good. I'm Andre Jacobs, and on behalf of WASA, I want to say a big thank you for taking the time to join us today. Today, we will show you exactly why workplace wellness is no longer just a nice to have, but a business imperative. Today's goal is to provide clear reasons why you should become an ambassador if you're not already. All the Platinum Plus members are ambassadors. And for those that are already ambassadors, why you should remain being an ambassador, and give you actionable insights to help you make workplace wellness a strategic priority in your practice. You will, without a doubt, walk away with some powerful insights into workplace wellness and a blueprint to build a profitable, wellness-focused practice. We want to show you how integrating workplace wellness into your service offering can benefit your clients, their employees, and eventually your own pocket, because that's why we are in business. So let's get started with our CEO of WASA, Chris Late, telling us about the workplace wellness program and how we can build our practices to address the customer's pain points. Over to you, Chris. Please allow Chris to join us. He will be here in a moment. There he is.
Okay. Thank you, Andre. So I'm Chris Late, and on behalf of WASA, thank you and welcome and thank you for joining us. Today we will show you why workplace wellness isn't optional. It's a strategic must. Our goal to share, just 1 second, I do apologize. Our goal is to share learnings and inspire you to become a WASA ambassador. Equip you with tools to make wellness the cornerstone of your practice. Let us first deal with the problem South Africa is facing today and the pain that is the result. Over the past 3 decades, South Africa's GDP growth has been trailing the global average, highlighting the need for structural reforms, policy interventions, and enhanced economic resilience and competitiveness. South Africa's economic performance over the past 3 decades compared to global growth trends reflect a nation facing structural and systematic challenges. Prolonged periods of low growth, low GDP growth, high unemployment, and increasing financial stress amongst households are not just macroeconomic statistics. They are the lived reality of your clients. 60% of financial advisors cite economic instability, political risk, and client immigration as top concerns. Yet only 43% of South Africans are using financial advisors. Fortunately, this figure is slightly up from the previous year where it was 39%, which does indicate rising demand. But let's face it, South Africa is hurting. Growth is lagging. Unemployment is rising. Clients are stressed and stretched and slipping through the cracks. Yet, this is your moment. As financial advisors, healthcare brokers, or wellness consultants, you are part of the solution. Clients are burning out. Employers are battling to stay productive. The public sector can't carry the load alone. This is not just a crisis. This is your calling. So let's have a look over the last 50 years. We see a staggering 547 billion rand being spent annually on healthcare in South Africa. That's obviously public and private combined, according to the 2022-23 fiscal year. However, we learned that the unaddressed mental health issues, that's in other words, absenteeism, presenteeism, and premature mortality, is an estimated cost to the economy of 161 billion per year, according to the Stellenbosch Business School research released in 2024. So healthcare brokers and wellness advocates ask, why is only 16% of the South African population covered by private healthcare, illustrating accessibility gaps? And then the US Chamber of Commerce Global Health Report indicates that the portion of South Africans' GDP lost to ill health, again, that's absenteeism, presenteeism, and early retirement, is projected to rise from 6% to 7% by 2030. No wonder we all complain about regulatory pressure, limited product offerings, and value blind spots, and of course, lack of purpose. Let's dive a bit deeper into this. As financial advisors, healthcare brokers, and intermediaries, you are facing challenges that go far beyond products and pricing. Let's quickly unpack some of the very real pressures that you are under. Firstly, the regulatory pressure. Compliance is no longer just an admin task. It's a daily operational burden. Legislation is constantly shifting. Your ability to innovate, to act in your client's best interest creatively is being strangled by red tape. This is not just frustrating, it's exhausting. Secondly, one-dimensional offerings are dying. Clients are evolving. And many intermediaries are still stuck in the old model of selling a policy and moving on. That no longer works. Clients today want to prevent risk, not just insure against it. They want advice that supports their mental, physical, and financial well-being. If your offering is insurance, you're being commoditized and perhaps even losing relevance. And even worse, money's probably flying out of the window because of value blind spots. Let's say you are adapting. You have extended your offering. You know you're adding value, but your clients don't always see it. CFOs and HR directors ask, well, what's the return on investment on this wellness talk? They want data, outcomes, and justification. And often the wellness and advice industries don't speak their language. That disconnect is costing you business. Let's be honest. Many of you got into this work to help people live better lives. But the pressure to chase sales targets, comply with rules, and justify your existence can disconnect you from your deeper purpose. It's not just a business problem, it's a human one. This isn't just market noise. It's an invitation for transformation. At WASA, we believe there is a smarter, more integrated way forward, where financial advice, healthcare support, and wellness planning comes together. Where you're not just ticking compliance boxes, but actually transforming lives and growing your business while you're doing this. Wellness is not a perk. It's an economic imperative. Let's zoom out for a moment. As an advisor, a broker, or a consultant, you're not just dealing with compliance headaches or commoditized offerings. You're witnessing the fallout of a system that has long ignored the true cost of poor wellness. Wellness has been treated as fluff, delegated to a junior HR level and maybe annual health day or annual check-in. But the truth, it is the hidden engine of our economy. South Africa loses 12 to 16 billion rand annually due to absenteeism. But presenteeism, when people are showing up but underperforming, costs a staggering 235 billion rand annually. Ladies and gentlemen, that is 4.3% of our GDP. The average employee loses 27 working days a year per employee, but only 9 are actual 6 days. The rest, burnout, stress, poor mental health. Wellness is not a soft skill, it's smart economics. As Dr. Themba Hadebe said, a well-structured wellness program is a win-win. Healthier employees drive engagement, resilience, and productivity. And the World Bank agrees. To unlock South Africa's future, we must unleash human capital. And that starts with well-being. This puts you, the advisor, broker, and intermediary, at the center of the solution. If your clients want to thrive in the future economy, wellness can't be optional. It's mission critical. So charity begins at home. Let's explore South Africa's wellness opportunity together. A new chapter for growth after a decade of stagnation. South Africa is finally turning the page. The finance minister recently declared that we are finally seeing real momentum. Growth is returning. Jobs are being created. But rebuilding the economy won't come from the government alone. It needs you, the intermediaries, the advisors, the brokers, to help turn strategy into impact. Your role is absolutely critical. You help employers unlock human capital. You help individuals build resilience. You are the bridge between wellness and economic growth. But there's a catch, the wellness gap. Let's have a look at that. North America invests about 5,786 US dollars per person per year in wellness. That is preventative activities and actions, not curative treatment. Europe, the average is $1,700. The global average is $788. And ladies and gentlemen, you can see on the graph on the right at the bottom, is sub-Saharan Africa, which includes South Africa. We only spent about $74 per annum per employee. You can see it as a gap, or you can see this as untapped market potential. WASA is here to help you close that gap. We're building a national movement, empowering advisors to position wellness as a strategic driver, not with messages or slogans, but with return on investment metrics, toolkit, and real impact. The recent Global Workplace Report by Gallup shows when organizations successfully engage the well-being of their employees, they experience a 240% boost in performance-related business outcomes. That's huge, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine a South Africa that doesn't just grow, but leads Africa in workplace wellness. Let's build it together. Right, so human capital is the new bottom line. Winning organizations are those that elevate wellness to a strategic asset. Across global research, executive reports, and business case studies, the message is clear. Neglecting human capital isn't just short-sighted, it's expensive. Without investing in well-being, innovation slows, resilience drops, and talent just simply walks out the door. Nobel laureate, Professor Daniel Kahneman, reminds us that real well-being isn't just about salary. It's about daily experiences, stress levels, and purpose. And these are now measurable, actionable business drivers. Oxford University and Indeed, a leading recruitment company, did a global study of 17 million workers and showed that well-being equals return on investment. They showed that companies that prioritize wellness outperform in productivity, staff retention, talent attraction, and financial returns. In South Africa, companies like ABSA illustrated leadership in and proving what is possible with wellness embedded in their culture. They've raised the bar on employee health and delivered and are delivering real business value. In a few minutes, Andre will illustrate how WASA will help you lead this shift. We will be equipping brokers and intermediaries, advisors, consultants to drive this change, helping you to help companies measure and report on human capital. Promote wellness as a financial strategy, not just social responsibility. Create benchmarks, toolkits, and platforms for measurable progress. Workplace wellness isn't a perk. It's a lever that shifts the business model. Let's move from surviving to thriving together. Organizations that neglect to invest in acquiring, nurturing, and expanding the potential of human capital risks losing their competitive edge. A workforce is not just an expense. It's the driving force behind innovation, resilience, long-term success. Without strategic investment in talent development and well-being, businesses will struggle to adapt, to compete, and to thrive in this ever-evolving marketplace. Let's get all hands on deck and fix our economy. The economy needs you. We need you. I'm now going to illustrate how you can use wellness to build your practice. At this stage, you might be wondering, how do I build my practice to benefit from this opportunity? Let's talk about something that really matters to both advisors and wellness professionals. Building a practice that's not just profitable, but also purpose-driven. Anton Swanepoel was one of the pioneers of this mindset in South Africa's financial planning space. He shifted the thinking from selling products to building brands. And today, WASA is offering you the same opportunity in the wellness space. Let's face it, your time is your most valuable asset. The next slide will be focusing on positioning, process, and profitability. And we'll explore how you can do less admin, chase fewer cold leads, and secure constant revenue. Our mission at WASA is to help you, the ambassadors, to monetize wellness through various tools, strategies, and products. So let's explore further where purpose meets profit. Anton's framework was based on three simple but powerful principles: positioning, process, and profitability. And we're adapting them here for the wellness economy. So positioning. You're not just an advisor anymore. You're a wellness strategist. Your positioning is what sets you apart. It helps HR officers and chief financial officers to know exactly where to plug you in. Process. Your process should be systemized. From onboarding your clients to delivering wellness value and following up. And WASA provides the tools to make this seamless. You can use them. Lastly, profitability. Structure your practice with scalable revenue in mind. That means tiered offerings, group contracts, retainers, not once-off sales. Let's now explore each of these pillars in terms of how it can build your practice. Again, positioning. Become the wellness strategist. Because health is wealth, you're not just an advisor anymore. You're the wellness strategist, the one who seeks the full picture, understands the risks, productivity, well-being, and performance. When your positioning is clear, HR directors know you are helping to solve burnout, and CFOs know you are helping to boost margins. You're not stuck selling products. You're guiding strategy. WASA helps you own that identity, giving you the credibility, the branding, and the content to stand out as the expert in the room. Let's look at process. So we've all heard work smarter, not harder. Let's be honest, most advisors waste time chasing leads, writing proposals, or reinventing how to explain their services. That old process is broken, according to me. Your process should be automated, reputable, and clear. From onboarding to delivering value to client renewal. WASA gives you the complete toolkit in terms of climate studies, done for you wellness assessments, presentation slide decks, templates, communication scripts, follow-up workflows. These are all available to our signed up ambassadors on the website. This isn't about more admin, however. It's about less hassle and more results. Finally, in terms of the 3 pillars, profitability. Build scalable revenue streams. Profit doesn't come from one-off sales. It comes from tiered offerings, group contracts, and monthly retainers that build recurring revenue while you sleep. Wasa will show you how. Lead with free value. This can be toolkits, quizzes, ebook, something to that extent. And then convert with low ticket offers. That might be a wellness audit. Then lock in with core retainers, monthly service level agreements, and Wasa is on your side. And then you grow with high ticket projects, strategy implementation, and accreditation. This is how you move from transaction-based income to real financial leverage. I think the key takeaway here is if you want to make more money with less effort, this is the formula. Position yourself as a strategist, systemize your process, and structure for profit. Wasa will give you everything you need to make it happen. Now, why should you even care about wellness in the first place? Well, wellness unlocks ongoing conversations. It's not a once-off transaction. You become a trusted guide in the organization. In a commoditized world of brokers and advisors, wellness is your differentiator. It allows you to speak not only to the CFO, but HR directors, wellness leads, and even the employees. You expand your reach. So why should you build a wellness-focused practice? Because it pays, literally and repeatedly. Wellness isn't just a new service. It's a strategic wedge that opens doors most advisors can't access, like HR, operations, and employee well-being teams. That means more influence and more integrated contracts. Let me give you a few real-world examples. Discovery Health's Vitality Program changed the game, not just for members, but for financial advisors who offered it. Whilst the Vitality is a loyalty program, it's focused on fitness and a healthy lifestyle, which was now commoditized, and present a package to the brokers, enabling those advisors who bundled Vitality in their client solutions to see better client retention and earn up to 20%, 26% more. Why? Because Vitality created a deeper long-term engagement. This is the same play, yeah, but this time it's yours. And here's the kicker. There are revenue opportunities on every spoke of the wellness wheel, from mental well-being to financial literacy, leadership coaching, and environmental wellness. Andre will talk you through how each spoke translates into practical services and billable value for you and your clients. Wasa positions you to move beyond product pitching, to deliver ongoing advisory value, earn across multiple tiers of service, not just once-off sales. Think about it. A typical broker works 60 hours a week, chasing renewals, solving admin. But a Wasa-aligned broker, they land 1 to 2 high-value retainers per quarter and focus their energy on delivering smart, proven wellness strategies. without extra admin. This is how you future-proof your practice and reclaim your time while making more money. We've included a practice building checklist in your toolkit, and here's what's inside. Lead generation. Who are you here to serve? Is it SMMEs? Is it corporates? Is it perhaps municipalities? What is the value proposition? What specific wellness or business problem are you solving? What's the service packaging? Can you offer an entry-level workshop or a mid-tier climate assessment or a high-ticket rollout strategy? Pricing. Think beyond commission. Add consulting fees, hybrids, or bundled offers. Let's zoom in on real-world opportunities here. You've got the skills. You've got the network. What you need now is a differentiator. Something that gets you in the door and keeps you at the table and multiplies your earning potential. That's where this checklist comes in. It's your roadmap to revenue through wellness. Let's have a look at each of them. Lead generation. So, who are you here to serve? SMMEs are hungry for talent retention. Municipalities are battling burnout. Corporates are facing environmental, social, and governance pressures. Wellness opens conversations most brokers never get to have. With HR, employee committees, and wellness champions, for example. These are warm leads just waiting to be engaged. Let's look at the value proposition. Don't just talk about coverage or compliance. Talk about mental health days saved, team productivity boosted, and staff turnover reduced. That's where clients stop seeing you as an expense and start seeing you as a strategic asset. Let's look at the service packaging. Think in tiers. Entry level, 1 hour wellness session or policy review. A mid-tier experience where workplace climate assessment is done or a wellness audit. A high-ticket interaction where full strategic wellness rollout with reporting, accreditation, and follow-ups is presented. The goal? Let's start small, but build long-term retainers with ease. WASA empowers you to do this. And then pricing. Move beyond commission thinking. Add once-off consulting fees, offer monthly service plans, or build hybrid packaging that blend financial products with high-value advisory works. If you price smartly, you'll be earning in ways your competitors haven't even imagined yet. That is how you grow your practice, with purpose and profit. And with WASA's templates, metric, and credibility, you don't have to build it all from scratch. Let's use the concept to guide how you build your offering. I'm going to elaborate a bit on this. Free value. You give something away, like a wellness climate study or an ebook. Then you position a low-ticket offer, a workplace wellness climate assessment, for example. This gets you into the door. Then your core offer, get WASA in. This is your bread and butter. This is your monthly retainer. Then a high-ticket income. This is where together we position a wellness strategy, implementation, accreditation pathways, and this is where there are big wins. This is where every product, every avenue around the wellness wheel becomes a potential revenue stream. This is not just theory. The value ladder is your step-by-step monetization model. Each level gives you a way to meet clients where they are and then grow the relationship and your revenue from there. So in terms of free value, you build trust and visibility. As mentioned, start by offering something small with no strings attached. The downloadable workplace wellness quiz, for example, a one-page wellness scorecard, a 50-minute wellness check-in with a lay counselor that you maybe orchestrate. An independent financial advisor in Gubera, Port Elizabeth, ran a free stress survey with 30 SMEs. 4 asked for a deeper audit and 2 converted to annual retainers. That's the power of giving to gain. On the low ticket side, there your aim is to get into the door. So offer an affordable entry-level service, a workplace wellness climate assessment, for example, a 1-hour HR strategy consulting with a feedback report. So example is a broker recently charged 2,500 Rand for a wellness climate study at a tertiary institution. The findings led to a 6-month employee support program and ongoing financial well-being coaching. This low ticket became a gateway of recurring income, for that broker. And then on the core offer, structure monthly revenue. Now we scale. This is where WASA steps in with tools, metrics, templates, systems, and credibility, offering monthly retainers with embedded reporting. Support the support the internal wellness committee with check-ins. Include training, podcasts, or virtual learning from WASA. You're in the door. This is where you can really add value. Your true bread and butter income is in this scenario. And yeah, you can generate from a few hundred rands to 15,000 Rand plus per month per client, depending on the size and scope, obviously. Imagine just having just 5 of these, sustainable and a scalable practice. And then your high ticket, deliver strategic impact for clients ready to go all in. Facilitate a full organizational wellness strategy. Co-create KPIs with HR and executive teams. Guide them to WASA's accreditation. For example, a financial wellness consultant partnered with WASA to develop a 12-month roadmap for a provincial municipality. The total contract was 180,000 Rand, with quarterly renewals built in. So here's the key takeaway. The ladder reduces resistance, builds trust, and leads naturally to long-term income. And every step is supported by WASA. You're not doing this alone. To make this real, here's a simple 4-week roadmap that you can follow immediately after this webinar. Week 1, define your offer and niche. Week 2, use the toolkit to approach your first 5 leads. Week 3, start building visibility. Use WASA's branding, templates, and assets. Week 4, pitch your first audit or monthly retainer. By now, you've seen the potential. But here's the best part. It isn't hard. It's doable. It's repeatable. And you're not alone. In just 4 weeks, you can go from passive observer to an income generating wellness advisor. Let's quickly look at this. Week 1, define your offering and niche. You don't have to serve everybody. Pick a lane, whether it's municipalities, SMEs, female-led firms, tech companies. I don't know what your niche is. WASA will help you refine a razor-sharp value proposition and tailor your offer accordingly. The second week, you approach your first 5 leads. Use our email template, scripts, and one pages. You're not cold calling, you're offering real value. Most advisors say they get at least 2 serious bites from this first round alone. Week 3, build visibility and credibility. You've got the WASA badge, your accreditation and your toolkit. You have it. Post on LinkedIn, run a webinar, offer a free lunch and learn in the staff cafeteria, for example. Let people know you're the go-to for wellness strategy in their company. Week 4, pitch WASA's employer accreditation. It's time to go now. It's go time, rather. Book a meeting. Use our proposal slide deck. Pitch the deal and earn your retainer. Close one deal and you're officially in the game. This is how you stop chasing your tail and start owning your future. You're not just an advisor. You're becoming a wellness authority. With WASA at your side, you have the credibility, the tools, and the plan. And best of all, you can do this. You must do this because it works. This is about building a long-term, purpose-driven practice that's future-proof. The same way Anton Swanepoel taught advisors to stop chasing product sales and build a brand. We want to help you build authority in the wellness space, systems, credibility, and scale. We've covered strategy. We've unpacked data. We've shown the business case. But let's strip it all back for a moment, because this is bigger than numbers. This is about people, and this is about you. When employees are well, businesses thrive. When businesses thrive, families are supported. And when families are strong, communities rise. That's the economy we're trying to rebuild. And we can't do it with policy alone. We need people on the front line, people like you. You're not just selling products and ticking boxes. You're building bridges between burnout and resilience, between survival and success. Do you want to keep pushing paperwork in a broken system? Or do you want to become a trusted voice of wellness and performance in your client's world? This is your chance to move from vendor to visionary. WASA isn't just an association. It's a movement, a growing community of brokers, advisors, and consultants ready to do more, earn more, yes, but also mean more. The wellness gap in sub-Saharan Africa is massive, but so is the opportunity to become part of a rising tide, one that lifts all ships. So here's the real question. Will you watch the shift from the sidelines or help lead it? We invite you fully, unapologetically to step in. Because with WASA, you don't have to do it alone. You'll have the tools, the credibility, and the support to make this work and make it count. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Andre, who is going to show you how to turn all of this into tangible action, starting now. Over to you, Andre. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Chris. So we're going to talk about this that Chris is speaking about. But before we do that, don't you think what Chris has shared with us is a huge, huge, huge amount of information? So I want to look at it a bit differently. So just allow me to take some time up on this. So this friend of mine, Peter, he had this phobia that, you know, somebody is sleeping under his bed. So he goes to a psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said to him, no, that's fine. What you need to do is you need to trust me. And I want to see you 3 times a week. So my friend said to him, but, you know, how much is that going to cost me? He says, well, my usual rate is about 600 Rand an hour. So, you know, that would be the cost. So it's 1,800 Rand a week. And so he goes away, leaves, and he goes to the pub, and the barman there says to him, what's your story? You look a bit sad. And the barman says, no, man. He tells the barman his story. And the barman said, and he speaks to him and so on. And later, a couple of months later, the psychiatrist bumped into my friend and he says, but why didn't you come back? He says, no, everything is sorted. He says, how's that? He says, no, the barman sorted it. Says, no, how did the barman sort it? He says, yeah, it only cost me 20 bucks. And I used that money to actually, you know, to save it. And I bought myself a new car. And my problem is totally sorted. He says, but what did the barman do? He says, yeah, it only costed me 20 bucks for the drink. He says, but what did the barman do? He says, no, the barman said, cut off the legs and nobody can sleep under the bed. So although that's maybe a joke, but that is actually, if we look at wellness, and we will speak about it, there's so much maybe wastage in the system, and you can maybe do something else by allocating the money as an employer. And I think in that regard, listen with that in a certain sense. We're not going to talk about the barman. We're not going to talk about cutting off the legs, but actually looking at a solution that can actually work. So imagine your client then spent millions on workplace wellness, only to realize it doesn't work. Now, for us, that sounds absurd. And I'm going to share with you a case study that shows that it's not that absurd. But that's actually what is happening in South Africa. Now, think back to your clients. For decades, workplace wellness programs have tracked fitness, nutrition, access to healthcare. But is it really working? And for the brokers that work in the corporate space, don't look at your corporate health review. Don't look at it. And look at what the health outcome was and the claims 10 years ago. And go and look today. And look at the spend that your company had and ask yourself, is it working? Is people healthier? Are they less in hospital? Are they spending less in hospital? Are they more productive? And unfortunately, when you go and do that, and I've looked at lots of corporate health reviews, and sadly, I don't see that link. I don't see that improvement. So I'm here, and what I want to do today is to expose what we call at WASA the hidden flaw, and that is the siloed approach. That's costing a lot of money, but also credibility to wellness practitioners and the results. So today we're not just talking about wellness, we are actually assisting you to rewrite the wellness rulebook. The reality is that our fragmented and uncoordinated wellness initiatives are failing to deliver the impact that we need. And that's exactly where WASA wants to play a role supporting you. So let me illustrate this by a real life example. Now, for the people that attended the launch, you would remember that I spoke about this. I consulted to a major state-owned entity, I don't want to name the entity, that invested heavily in wellness initiatives. But so, what I didn't tell you is that some of my competing corporate brokerages, all the large corporate brokerages, also delivered certain wellness initiatives to that organization. They had a mental health support program that the one group did. They had the HIV/AIDS program. They had the chronic disease management. They had the economic programs. They had fitness challenges. They had financial wellness workshops. A myriad. On paper, this sounded like a comprehensive strategy. And if you were to go to the HR manager was very proud of all these programs. And when we examined the impact, the reality was very different. Each department ran its own wellness initiative in isolation, with no coordination and no shared data. And the data were totally useless. We couldn't use the data. The way the data was collected was wrong. And the reports didn't speak to each other. We even had different amounts of people in departments, which is impossible. Employees were overwhelmed with all these wellness interventions. And in some of the cases, they didn't trust the program. They went just outside the gate to the HIV clinic that government ran. And we got better data from them. Shocking. So the multiple departments launched similar programs, leading to unnecessary spending. So in some cases, a certain department would contract with somebody to do, let's say, financial literacy classes, and another department in another town, it's a national client, that would do contract with somebody else. No standardization. There was no single source of truth that existed to measure where the wellness interventions were working. Data were misaligned. Workers didn't feel confident in the employer, and they lacked trust. And it's not that the employer didn't invest money. They spent lots of money on this. But the interesting thing is that there were 30 employees that were mission critical to this company, or to this SAE. If those 30 people are not productive and not at the best, that SAE suffer. Billions of rands go through that unit. But there were no data, they were too small. They weren't important enough. We would rather look at this unit that have 1,000 people that could be replaced tomorrow with no impact on the SAE. So the primary reason that all the providers gave was that it is too small. So we looked at it, and we looked at it from a coordinating perspective. And no wonder when the tender was issued to look after their healthcare benefits, guess what? We got a tender. Why? Because we built a trust, because we looked at all this information. But eventually we also got the work to look after their wellness. So the income that we received from just the medical scheme broking side actually increased dramatically. And that cemented our relationship with this SOE. So does wellness work? Yes, it does. It works wonders. So focusing on this wellness approach makes commercial sense to the broker. And that's what I want to share with you. I'm talking from practical experience where it benefited the business. But he who does not risk losing the business. And that's the important point. Because all our competitors had a stake in that SOE. They lost that business and they also didn't get a medical scheme business. Don't you think it makes sense to have holistic thinking when it gets to wellness? I think this business case speaks wonders in that regard. Workplace wellness is not just an HR initiative. It's a fundamental driver of retention and long-term business success. We haven't put up a slide now, but for the first time in history, the concern and the highest priority that employees put forward is wellness. It's the first time that it increases above family. And it's the first time that it's also above financial success. People are concerned about their well-being. Your clients and their employees are concerned about their well-being. It's not just an HR initiative. It's a fundamental driver of engagement, retention, and long-term business success. Now, Chris, our CEO, gave us a compelling economic impact of ill health. It's compelling. Therefore, if you fail to rethink how we implement workplace wellness, we will continue to hemorrhage billions of rands in lost productivity while failing to support the very people who keep the business running. And that's important. And as an ambassador of wellness, we look to you to put that message forward. If we want to have economic growth in South Africa, we need to improve the wellness of the population. We're in a unique position in South Africa where we have a huge amount of unemployment. But the big problem, that's the mountain that you see above the water. The iceberg under the water is actually that people are not well. That's what Chris said to us. And if we don't address that, we have a huge challenge. So, however, for brokers or wellness ambassadors, the solution, I think, is within your reach. So, allow me to share one caution with you. And that is something that often happens with wellness. Now, Elmarie Jooste, she serves on our research committee, and she's passionate about this. And she says, never, and I'll repeat it, but never position a wellness tool as a tool to increase productivity. Now, you will say, Andre, what are you talking about? That is exactly what Chris said. He said, look at wellness, it will improve productivity. Now, Elmarie doesn't say he doesn't do that. He says, never position it as a way to increase productivity. The moment that you do that, you alienate the employees. It's a basic sales principle. You want to sell wellness to the employer, and he needs to sell it to the employees. And what is the first thing in sales that I teach you? What's in it for me? Not what's in it for the employer, not what's in it for the advisor. No, what's in it for me as the employee? So instead, focus on the benefits for the employees. Benefits such as the ability to cope with the pressures of work in your personal life. How do you balance these things? That is why we as an employer want to implement this wellness initiative. Properly get in control of your stress levels and live a healthier life. So employees value working, and this is what the slide says, working for a company that truly cares about their well-being. When business fosters a culture of support and trust and care, that increases productivity. So you will get to the productivity. Productivity is a byproduct. People then buy into that and you get productivity. And that's what you need to do. That's what Elmarie says. So employees don't do it because it's demanded, but before they feel motivated, the employer cares about this. That's what they do. Okay, so then when we look at employees today seek more than just a job. They want learning opportunities, alignment with company purpose, a workplace where they can feel safe and valued, contrary common assumptions that workplace must be fun and we must do fun things. Employees, if they want to do fun things, they don't come to work to do fun things. They do it at home. They don't do fun things at work, but they want to feel safe and they want to feel valued. That's what employees want to do. So fun is not important for employees. They want the caring. And that is what Spencer Stuart in the Harvard Business Review study, where they reinforce that. So they value that more than salaries and the perks and the culture and the respect. Interestingly, while company performance and productivity remain crucial, they rank second to a caring culture in shaping employee attitudes. And this underscores a critical shift. Business is no longer just about numbers, it's about people. I'm doing some work for a health insurer in Africa. And his question to me was, now their legislation is different to South Africa, but his question was, what benefits can I give other than healthcare benefits? He works with employers. What benefits? Now he's going to join as a WASA member, country member for WASA. And I think what we looked at there is training courses about soft skills, fitness courses, etc. We have a myriad of benefits that we add. It's got nothing to do, but it adds value. People will feel valued. So WASA recognizes this shift and is leading the way in workplace wellness by helping organizations build environments where employees thrive, contribute meaningfully, and remain engaged. Business that prioritizes care is one that secures the loyalty and the productivity. And what does the business then do? What's in it for me? For the business, long-term success. Not a short-term, long-term success. So, if we take a closer look at what an effective workplace wellness program really looks like when it's done holistically and how it can benefit your practice. At the heart of our approach is the wellness wheel, a visual and strategic framework that helps organizations move beyond fragmented wellness initiatives. We all heard it before. We have a wellness program. I told you about the SOE. But in reality, these initiatives often live in silos. HR might run stress management, finance might promote financial fitness or savings plans, operations might look at health and safety, and somebody will maybe look at the environmental wellness. While all valuable, they often lack an integration and coherence. If you go and look at mines and mine safety, they link it to the DNA of that mine. And that's what we're talking about. So while all valuable, they must be integrated. And that's where this model actually adds huge value. So let's explore how you can get each of these 8 interconnected dimensions of the wellness wheel become a revenue stream for you. And I'm going to show a few examples, not everyone. WASA aims to link you to professional accredited service providers. Chris spoke a bit about it, but I'm going to put some meat to that. Offering meaningful contributions, things that work. And you will earn your money by keeping it all together and add value to the client. We will give you the tools, so don't worry about it. We will give it to you. Baby steps. WASA's championing the structured, holistic approach to wellness. Originally, it was developed in 1976, many years ago. What's that? 49 years, 50 years ago, by Dr. Bill Hetler, co-founder of the National Wellness Institute. And this model has evolved beyond its, initially it started with 6 dimensions, to the current 8 dimensions. And that's why we have embarked on this holistic approach. So in this approach, you support employees with fitness, nutrition, and chronic disease management for long-term health, focusing on the physical wellness side. Then you're providing stress management tools, mental health support, employee assistance programs to foster resilience to support emotional wellness. Who better than a medical scheme broker is there to assist with EAP programs? How many times have you heard, I have this chronic condition? I had a big script. Years ago when I did a one-on-one session with somebody and they said to me, I've got HIV/AIDS, which option must I choose? Gee, was at that stage, that was a swear word. It wasn't, like we think there's a lot of AIDS in the old age homes. You know that they say there's lots of AIDS in the old age homes. Walking AIDS, hearing AIDS, all those things. That's not that AIDS, it's the real AIDS. So what type of option? But when people get divorced, when they get married, when children are born, when children have problems, isn't that a good thing to link that to the EAP program and what benefits on the medical scheme option? And how does that benefits work? You see, if you start integrating the things, you actually have a far better solution that you offer the client. Equipping employees with financial literacy, and I'm going to show something nice there, debt management strategies and long-term financial planning to improve their financial wellness. And then aligning employees' organizational purpose, career growth, and meaningful work, supporting occupational wellness. Fostering inclusion, diversity, and strong workplace relationships for a sense of belonging to achieve social wellness. We are social beings. Designing sustainable workspaces that enhance health, energy, and productivity, to align it with environmental wellness and encouraging mindfulness, aligning with personal values and a deeper sense of purpose to achieve spiritual wellness. I'm assisting a client currently that is a Chinese company. And when you look at that client and you look at the culture and how they think and how they plan and how they see business and how they see their staff, there's a different approach. You need to align it with those values. Promoting continuous learning, upskilling, and cognitive development to empower employees to improve intellectual wellness. Each of these dimensions is thoughtfully implemented and aligned. We then move from a tick box exercise to a real impact. It's the impact that I make. Remember when I asked you, don't look at your corporate health review 10 years ago, and look at it today. Did it improve? That's the impact that we talk about. It helps organizations to reduce duplication, lower cost, and generate data that actually reflects employee well-being, not just in isolated outputs. It puts you as the intermediary and the wellness ambassador in a very good place to be. So why are you in business? When I speak to healthcare brokers and wellness ambassadors, they all say the same thing. I am in business to solve the healthcare problems of my clients. When I ask them, what's your greatest obstacle? They say cost. Then they say complexity. And then they say regulation. And I think it's not. I think it is that there's a lack of trust in the value that is added. And you know my bias. You know that I believe that a healthcare broker adds an immense amount of value. Alex Hormozi and Adam Smith, specifically Adam Smith in his book Wealth of Nations, and then Alex Hormozi, they say the same thing. They say money is exchanged when the perceived value is higher than the price. Money is exchanged when the perceived value is higher than the price. That is the key to unlock the CFO. Trust you and to part with the money for wellness. Therefore, we provide you with a holistic structure in assisting creating a culture where wellness becomes part of the DNA of the organization, not as an initiative. Part of the DNA. When we do this, we can illustrate real return on investment. This builds trust with proven value. This is fertile ground for the CFO to continue with the investment. He or she trusts your partnership and value your offer. And the global results speak for itself. 30% lower employee turnover, 20% increase in productivity, higher employee engagement, and satisfaction. But what can you present? If you can present this to the client, if you say to the client, in your case, this is the situation. So what is our communication usually to the client? And I put to you that if you go to a client and you say to a client, you've got a 30% lower absenteeism, your people are more productive, and you can demonstrate the success. It's far better than giving the following message. And the following message is, Mr. Employer, medical scheme inflation have increased 3% above inflation. The employees running out of savings is 7% up from last year. We had 8% less people at a wellness day. We engaged with 38% of the employees during year end. Which message would excite you if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a CFO, if you're a business person? My opinion is that the last one is boring and concerning and does not bode well. Create trust. And sadly, doesn't bode well to retain your services. The first message is powerful, where you become a business partner. You speak the business language. I attended a network function today. And in that organization, they appointed a new CEO, and he told us his life story and deals that he made and how things failed and all that. But if you strip it down, he's interested in the first message. He's not interested in all the problems. It doesn't interest him. It's just outcomes focused. So WASA stakeholders will gain access. So you will have it, your employers will have it, employees will have it. Access to, and the providers will have access to a comprehensive toolkit during 2025 and 26. This toolkit includes climate studies, templates, webinars, podcasts, ebooks. Chris spoke about ebooks. He spoke about climate studies, surveys that can be done. And we're going to talk a bit about that. But those things will be given to you. Policy documents, white papers, position papers, playbooks, and there's many more. So the purpose of this toolkit is to ensure that you have access to the best and up-to-date information relating to wellness in the workplace. We will also develop with you an integrated workplace wellness support system where it can be coordinated on one software platform. That is to come. So now that we have laid out the problem and the solution, the question is, what can you do today to be part of this transformation? So the first step is to get, for the people that have more employees and corporate brokers, you can do it also for yourself, but get your clients to complete your prospects. Chris spoke about it. Get him to improve the assessment. Client can't improve what they don't measure. And that's the one problem that we have in wellness. We don't measure it. Pay. And then we like to say, what value does it have? If you didn't measure it in the beginning, if you don't have the stake in the ground, you can't measure it. So that is why WASA has developed a workplace wellness assessment tool. It's a diagnostic questionnaire that helps employers to identify the key risk areas within their workforce, benchmark their current wellness efforts against industry best practice, and develop custom roadmap for implementing and integrating wellness strategy, and then securing buy-in from the leadership and the finance department. You and your clients have access to this tool immediately, and you will be able to complete it. And if you do that, you do two things. You contribute to WASA's research agenda, helping us to shape the future of workplace wellness in South Africa and gain actionable insights to make wellness a strategic driver of engagement and performance in your organization. That's what I did with the SOE. I collected all the data. And then I said, I can't do anything. This one says you've got so many employees. That one says you've got so many employees. This percentage of that, it doesn't make sense. Oh, maybe we need, and that's where we started. So, I've often spoken about the future of brokers And I've mentioned that in the future, we will have two types of brokers. We will have a transactional broker and a consultative broker. And this is still my view. And my bias is towards a consultative broker. Chris talks about it, he mentions it as a visionary. It's 100% right. I don't think that a transactional broker do something wrong. But the reason for my bias is not based on the difference of value they bring. Both broker models add value. However, the consultative broker will be less impacted by AI, technology, and the changing world of work than the transactional broker. Because the things that Chris spoke about is not things that AI can help you with. A broker who adopts a consultative brokerage approach makes workplace wellness part of their practice for several compelling reasons, both strategic and practical. So yes, there's a few reasons. The first one is it's more than just insurance. Offering wellness elevates the broker's role from just transactional, just handling benefits, to strategic, to partnering with the employer. I've already demonstrated how that elevates the trust of the client in the broker and the business that we secured. I've already shown that. But wellness programs can help reduce healthcare claims, absenteeism, and long-term costs, something employers deeply care about. Deeply. That Chinese company, just in terms of the quota, they've done something very stupid because they didn't look at the detail. And their quota cost them, their fee, cost them 600,000 rand a year. It's a lot of money. They've paid it for 5 years. Guess what? They should actually only pay 180. And I can claim it back. Do you think they like me? Because I've told them that and helped them through that process. We're getting them millions back. The marketplace is crowded with transactional brokers. Brokers who incorporate wellness into their offerings stand out by demonstrating innovation and a broader commitment to client success. It provides a broker as positions a broker as a forward-thinking advisor and business partner. Not just, there's the guy from Discovery or there's the girl from Bonitas. Yeah. It's not true. Employers are increasingly aware of the connection between employee well-being, productivity, retention, and culture, especially post-COVID. Clients expect more holistic health solutions and support, including mental health, stress management, and work-life balance. Sorry, Mr. Employer, I can't help you. I'll deal with the claims. That's a negative approach. The opportunity lies in meeting the needs. And you might say, yeah, but this is overwhelming. This is a lot. I always say, in business, if you want to make money, solve a problem. You want to make more money, solve a bigger problem. Productivity. Chris was very direct about it. He gave us the details, showing us that it is a big problem. Focus on that. Follow the money. But it also drives engagement and retention. Wellness programs create more frequent, meaningful touch points with clients, allowing brokers to stay on top of mind. By helping clients implement and engaging wellness initiatives, brokers indirectly help improve employee satisfaction, making the broker invaluable. And wellness programs are often provide actionable data on employee health trends. Brokers can use this to recommend smarter benefit plans and demonstrate the ROI. It transforms benefit planning into a proactive, data-informed conversation. How more secure is that client when you have that information and you give advice? How difficult is it for somebody else to unseat you there? Offering wellness services can create pathways to additional revenue streams, and we're going to talk about it. Such partnerships with financial wellness technology, EAP programs, etc. There's a lot of them. So instead of the once-off transactions and commission, there's a whole line of additional income that I think is important. WASA identifies ambassadors as influential professionals who actively represent and advocate comprehensive workplace wellness practices. WASA ambassadors include professionals such as employees, employee benefit brokers, human resource practitioners, wellness advocates, and industry leaders committed to advancing workplace wellness. This code of conduct that we ask you to sign when you join outlines expectations that for ambassadors, ensuring alignment with WASA's mission, ethical standards, and strategic objectives. So, the first one is professional representation. Ambassadors must represent WASA with professionalism, integrity, and respect in all interactions. They are expected to embody and promote the principles of values of workplace wellness. Ambassadors shall actively promote WASA wellness initiatives and programs, including sharing educational resources, wellness tools, research questionnaires with their professional networks and corporate clients. We also need integrity and have an ethical responsibility. So ambassadors must conduct all professional engagements transparently and ethically, ensuring that communication regarding WASA services and initiatives is accurate, truthful, and evidence-based. And then ambassadors must commit to distributing WASA's workplace wellness resources, tools, templates, and research questionnaires amongst their clients and networks to enhance workplace wellness practices and insight. Ambassadors must also commit to continuous learning in workplace wellness, and we will have more of these sessions, different sessions, staying informed about the latest trends, digital tools, and best practices to effectively advise and add value to their corporate clients. And ambassadors shall maintain strict confidentiality regarding sensitive information shared within WASA engagements, protecting client privacy and upholding professional trust. By adhering to this code of conduct, ambassadors affirm their dedication to proactively advancing workplace wellness, ethical practices, and collaborative growth within the WASA community. So, now that we have unpacked the solution, let me share with you the value of joining WASA as an ambassador. You will earn a fee of 5% of the WASA fee paid by your clients. Let me show you how easy it is to join with a 2-minute video. So let me show this to you. Guys, we're running a bit late, so I'm gonna be a bit quicker. Sorry for that. Those that have to go, the session was set for 1.5 hours. Those that have to go, I will understand that it won't impact the CPD certificate, so I understand that. Okay. So thanks a lot for that. For the rest, please stay. I'll see how I can quickly finish this. So I want to start and also show you a short video about earned wage access system and how it is a very effective solution for financial wellness. And you are going to have a concern about it, but I'll address that concern directly after this video. So let me show you the video quickly. It's short, very quick. Okay, so there you can see you get a 1% fee on Paycheck as a wellness ambassador. They're one of our suppliers. And if it's a company with 100 employees and the salary is 15,000 rand a month, your income can be as much as 1,500 rand a month and 18,000 rand a year. So it's a lot of money. But what you are concerned about, most likely, and why I say you're concerned about, I was concerned about it, is that, yeah, but this, will this not, how is this financial wellness? Will this not keep the people locked into debt for life? And there's one company where we've tested it. And over a 3-year period, and we've seen high income earners as well as low income earners make use of it. And what we have seen is two things over a 3-year period. And I remember I said in the beginning, go and check the stats. Where was it? What is it now? And 3 years later, less people make use of it, and the amount of money have reduced. Is that not what financial wellness is about? Getting out of debt. And we can actually see that it worked. Okay, so this is a very good solution that is available to the wellness ambassadors. So if you want to join WASA, what will the cost be? And so basically, the value that you get out of WASA, you get a climate studies. Chris said, do that climate study. If you have to go and develop it yourself, you're going to spend hundreds of thousands of rand to develop it. We've placed a value on it, looking at independent valuations of 75,000 rand, and that's exceptionally conservative. There's a knowledge vault with ebooks and many other resources. There's the provider vault, the well webinar, the weekly podcast. There's a range of benefits in that. And the value of that is 264,000. And for you, as a wellness ambassador, if you want to join the Platinum Plus members, close your ears, you're already members, it is 300 rand a year, per month, or 150 rand. Now, what's the difference? If you're a corporate, if you have more than 5 employees, then it is 300 rand. The rest is 150 a month, the single operator, basically. But if you act today, speed wins business. Procrastination costs you. So receive a 75% of your ambassador fee for the first year and 50% off for the rest of your life. We want to honor the people that start with us. And if you pay upfront, you get a further discount. If you pay annual, so you get a further discount. So it makes a lot of sense to join. So you can basically join as an individual and pay 37 rand 50. A company pays 75 rand. And after a year, you get a 50% discount. So it just shows you that there's huge amount of value. If you only look at a fee that you get from WASA, the 5%, if you only implement Paycheck, all of that far exceeds your investment in bringing this as part of your practice. So to qualify for this, complete and submit the ambassador application form, and you get it on our website. If you don't see it, please send us an email. You have our email address. I've sent you many emails inviting you to this session. If you want to join, send me an email and say, I want to join. Then we know. Then you're locked in. Then we will make sure that you fill in the form. But go to the website and complete it. So if there's people that want to ask questions, we can allow for a couple of questions. I've rushed over the last portion a bit, but I don't want to take unnecessary time up from you. I'm just going to look at a chat, whether there's questions on the chat. There's no questions on the chat. Is there any person that have a burning question that I want us to answer? Please, you can do that, Farnes. You can maybe just allow that on the system to do. And then our company secretary, Farnes Engelbrecht, is on the other side running the system for us. Thanks a lot, Farnes. You can maybe open it. No questions? Guys, then all that is left is for me to thank you for a fantastic session. We look forward to you joining WASA and really making it part of your business. If you need any help and assistance, Farnes and Chris will reach out to you. You're also welcome to anytime contact me to discuss with you the value that WASA brings. Thank you. Be blessed. And let's create wellness. Let's make a difference and rewrite the rule book of wellness in South Africa. Thank you. I honor you. Be blessed.